Hello and welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Mignot. This is part of my 29 Days of Magic series where I interview an amazing Black woman every single day of the month of February. And I am beyond excited to have Latoyia Dennis, the motivated mom, join me on the show today. She has an incredible story. She's a fantastic person, and I can't wait for you all to hear her story. Take a listen. Hey, Latoyia.
Hey Laura, how are
Happy
you?
that you're here. Don't be
Ditto.
nervous.
Thank you. I'm shaking the wiggles out right now.
Good,
Thank you.
good, good. Shake it all out. It'll be fine. And the way this all works, as I said, easy peasy, nice and breezy, is the first question is always the same, and the answer is always remarkable. I can't wait to hear what yours will be. So, Latoyia, what was your first job?
My first job was at Taco Bell.
Oh,
Taco Bell.
what did you talk
hmm
about?
I was a server. I worked behind the counter, and that was my very first job. Realized very quickly that I needed to do something else, and so I started. Um, Shampooing hair. So I started working part time for a hairstylist and began to be a shampoo girl. So it quickly changed because Taco Bell was not for me, but I'm thankful for Taco Bell. But that was my first job.
Okay,
Yep.
so you went from Taco Bell being a server. How do you have a server at Taco Bell, though? It's not a
Like a
restaurant.
like a not a server, I guess a cashier, right? Like you know what I mean? I don't even remember, Laura, honestly, the title. I know that I worked register, I cooked the meat, I served the tacos. I mean, absolutely everything. I don't even know that I really had a title at Taco Bell.
So
I
you
did
made a lot
everything.
of things happen, though, but you realized doing all that wasn't for you.
Mm-mm,
Makes
wasn't for
sense.
me.
But you
Yeah,
focus on what mattered.
yeah,
Like,
very
okay,
quickly.
people. But like, you know what I can
People,
do? I'm good with people.
absolutely. And I'll rise to the occasion. I will listen. I need to learn how to make tacos and cook the meat and fold it perfectly, and I can do it. I just won't do this very long. And so I quickly shifted. But yeah, it was Taco Bell.
Wow. All right.
hmm
I'm into it for Taco Bell. Okay. So once we leave Taco Bell and after we become a shampoo girl, how do we go from being the amazing shampoo girl named Latoya to having a chat with me today? Like, what was that career journey like?
Oh my goodness, Laura. First of all, I am just kind of overwhelmed by the opportunity to speak with you today. I mean, I'm so excited about this podcast, and clearly there have been amazing women. And so I'm thankful to be among them. But my journey from Taco Bell to the motivated mom and a serial entrepreneur is what I believe that I am, a wife, a mother, a parent enthusiast, a skilled fundraiser. All of it was very strategic, but hard, right? Because I grew up very dysfunctional childhood, but solid. I didn't know that it was dysfunctional then. I mean, just recently going through years of therapy to overcome traumatic issues, I realized that, oh, wow, my childhood was traumatic. But it went from me just being very strategic. I was always a good student, always. I was the type of student where I didn't have to study much, and so I could glaze over something or pay attention in class with just the notes and I could pass the test. So um, maintained, top 10% of my class and graduation. Like I was always a great student. My grandmother raised me and she would always say, like, no matter what, get an education. You know, school is first. And so I remained a good student, went to college, um, did not stay in, so I finished later in life, realizing that, okay, Latoya, you do need a degree, but just working through those things, people, m- meeting people and then being challenged by what is it that you really want to do? How do you really want to make an impact in the world? Those questions, those folks who kind of loved me and guided me through, they helped me to constantly challenge myself to, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And it wasn't so much about being successful or being a celebrity, although my 12-year-old self would tell you that I wanted to be an actress. But it really was about, Latoyia, what type of person do you want to be? What type of impact do you want to leave in the lives of people? And those decisions led me to a life of service. I fell in love with nonprofit work, and I have been in nonprofit management and fund development ever since. Ever
Oh.
since.
And so, I think lots of folks, find their purpose in working in in the nonprofit sector. What would you say is like the most challenging aspect of it?
For me, I left corporate America from my very first nonprofit job almost by accident. So I moved to Texas, and I was in advertising sales, very, very good in advertising sales, and moved to Texas to be closer to my mom, and my brother was after 9/11. And I went to volunteer for a nonprofit. They were looking for someone to kind of manage a girls' night out program. They needed a mentor for a girls' program, volunteer. So I go to meet with the community director, and we spent some time. And she's like, "Oh, I think you'd be perfect for this volunteer opportunity." I said, "Well, it's great for me because it's weekends. They were doing it like first and third weekend." I said, "And I'm traveling, you know, 3 weeks out of the month, primarily for work, but I'm home on weekends." So she said, yeah, you should do it. You have to meet with our executive director. And Laura, I mean, I'm like, the executive director for a volunteer job?
Okay, like what's
Okay.
going on here?
Yeah, like what is happening here? And so I meet with Dr. Terry Flowers, and we met for about 3 hours. I had never cried or laughed or felt so inspired in an interview for a volunteer job or any other job ever in my life. The impression that he left on me in that 3 hours, um, it really changed the trajectory of my life. And so a few weeks later, he called me to offer me a job in their development department, raising money for this nonprofit. And without question, I didn't even know what they were paying me, Laura. I said yes. I quit my job in
Wait, you didn't
advertising.
you didn't you did not know how much they were
I,
paying you, and you quit your job?
I did not. I did not. And I'm glad I didn't at the time, because it would have been a hard no, because it was
Okay.
because it was significantly
Less.
lower. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so um I was like, "Oh, good Lord." But saying yes to that nonprofit job, I was in development. And the same skill, right? Like the same skill in terms of sales. I'm selling ads over here, but here I'm selling impact, right? Like fundraising. It's sales, except it's tied to these amazing outcomes in the lives of people. And so during that time, I just jumped in. I said, I want to be certified, and I want to be certified in nonprofit management. I want my master's degree in nonprofit management. I really want to be the best. I joined the Association of Fundraising Professionals. At the time, I was the youngest Black fundraising executive in Dallas. Um,
Wow.
and I was raising a significant amount of money, and that was over 20 years ago. I mean, I was raising annually, close to 1.5 or so million dollars annually, which to me back then was that's huge. I think that's a lot right now. Some fundraising executives may, but at the time, 20 years ago, I thought it was a big deal. But that experience, I knew then that I wanted to work and advocate and serve nonprofit organizations. So I would say, a challenge in the nonprofit sector is it's always changing, especially when you're in fund development. Most nonprofits are raising the money for the year that they're in, which if you don't bring in the money, the lights could be turned off. Like it's a lot of pressure, right? So managing proper relationships and stewarding people well, those are the keys that could help those in nonprofit scale and become sustainable. Is how you manage relationships. People give money to people they know. Period. Point
Right.
blank.
Period, point blank. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. So, what would you say? How did you kind of coin the motivated mom as to like this is who you are right now?
Yeah. So I'm a mom. Chance is 13, and we have a bonus baby. That's 3. But the motivated mom is a program under a nonprofit that I started called A Chance to Learn. A Chance to Learn was started. My son is Chance, and he was about 2 years old. We were on a plane leaving Chicago visiting family, coming back to Dallas. And he sat down at 2 in the seat and he read the back of the seat in front of him, fasten seatbelt while seated. And the guy next to us said, "Oh my God, did you just read that? Like, how old are you?" And he said, "I'm 2." And
Wow.
and the man said, "You can read at 2?" And he said, "Yes, but my cousin, she's 2 and she can't read. And mommy, I think that you should pay for every kid to go to school because if they can't read, then they can't read their Bible." And so I got off that plane and I started A Chance to Learn. And initially A Chance to Learn, we provided resources for low-income families to pay for their children to go to daycare, to preschool, because we believe in early education. We believe in early childhood education. A few years of doing that, we started partnering with an organization that was doing a camp because children in low-income communities, primarily Black and brown, children in low-income communities are entering kindergarten at an astronomical rate behind. In Dallas at the time, this was several years ago, 47% of kids entered in kindergarten behind, and in Fort Worth, 42% in low-income communities. So we launched a camp, and the camp was Camp Smart Kids, Science, Math, Arts, Reading, and Technology. And this camp helped pre-K 2 through 2nd grade to be equipped for kindergarten with the preschoolers, but for those 2nd graders going into 3rd grade, that was the year of testing, right? And so there's a prison to pipeline situation where they determine prisons based on 3rd grade scores in low income communities, and so the population of a prison. And so that was our goal. And doing that for a few years, I started blogging, the Motivated Mom blog. It was really just for me to, it was really, Laura, an opportunity for me to kind of share my epic fails and to provide encouragement to moms. I really didn't know really what I was doing. I hired a blog coach and said, "Listen, I want to blog and I need a coach because I don't even know where to start." And about 6 months into that, I took a leap of faith and quit my job to run and manage the Motivated Mom platform completely. And my prayer was to God, if this is what you would have me to do, I need to become a Disney mom blogger. And so I reach out to Disney. And again, I'm blogging about 6 months. And this is about November, end of November, early December. And they said, "Latoyia, your blog is new, but even on your platform, like you don't even have 5,000 followers." And again, this is probably six years ago. "You don't even have, 5,000 followers. Like we typically have people a part of this program that are really like, I mean, they have hundreds of thousands of followers. Like it is a lot." And I said, "I understand. Okay, so I'll increase my following." But I had launched the Motivated Mom, Laura, with a with a tour, the Motivated Mom Tour. And it was really going from state to state, city to city, just, talking to moms about, reinventing yourself and how do you become an engaged parent? Like, how do you plan financially for your children's college and future, or even baby showers? If you're new having a baby, we always plan baby showers, but do you ever plan for early education? How are you planning for preschool? So this tour was like, I had no idea, just jumped out there.
Yeah.
Well, January 7th, Laura, I get a call from Disney, an email said you're invited. And
Wow.
when you get emails, as bloggers know, when and influencers, when you get an email and the subject is you're invited, it is big. Like, it is big. And so you're invited. And I open the email, January 7th. I opened the email and I was invited to um, the Disney Blogger Conference, and it was a few days at Disney World and a few days on a cruise, and I got to bring my family, and I was a part of this Disney Mom Blogger. And I remember getting in there, and we were kicking it off because they have these sessions, and someone called my name and it said, "Do you know why you're here?" And I'm like, because I was invited." And he was like, "Well, you remember talking to me and I told you that you didn't have the followers?" And I said, "Yes." I was so surprised. And he said, "But what you did have, Latoya, was engagement. People want to hear you. And when we started following your platform and your tour, and all of these people are talking to you and they want to hear your thoughts and ideas, and they're attending this tour that you have, and your brand is not even a year old, those are the type of people that we want to connect with." And so the Motivated Mom blog, the Motivated Mom platform blew up completely. And I just became an influencer for Disney and beaches and Dove and Prudential and Coca-Cola. And I mean, I partnered with Coca-Cola. I was an influencer for them. It was just all of these things started happening with the Motivated Mom blog. And then I launched the Motivated Mom as a program under a chance to learn, because I wanted it to be more than just me, Laura, going into these cities with this tour, right? I wanted to provide programming to moms, especially those that I served with through a chance to learn in the camp. And started knocking on doors in low-income communities and launching these Motivated Mom programs around self-sufficiency and parent engagement. And before long, I was providing Motivated Mom self-sufficiency program in 3 housing communities here in Dallas. DISD, the Dallas Independent School District, reached out to me and said, "Hey, how are you engaging these parents?" Like, we were having problems in the schools that you serve in those communities with parent engagement. And now these same moms are like joining PTA. "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just talking to them." And they said, "Well, can you be our parent engagement liaison? Because we just can't reach them, but you can." And so I joined forces with Dallas Independent School District and partnered as their parent engagement liaison for schools that had very low parent engagement. And so, the Motivated Mom, like, and now it's grown another level. Like, we have legs and we're walking, because we're not just a blog, we're an actual program. And so it's just been evolving from there.
Amazing.
I know.
So,
I
so
know. I'm
no,
talking to
you
you
don't
about it. I'm
see,
like, "Oh my God, I can't
see,
believe I'm doing all that."
exactly. This is why you come on the podcast and you realize the amount of amazing, dope things that you were up to because you are busy doing all that work. Um, so, which is incredible, and so much that you're doing. And so, obviously, you and I were having a chat back in December. Was it December we had done it? Yeah, December. And you told me about the most incredible thing you were doing for Black maternal health. And I would love if you could share what you were up to, because I want as many people as possible to know this is existing and is coming to 25 cities, because it's going to literally save women's lives.
OMG. So, yes. And Laura, at the time, when I was talking to you about it, I am a part of a collaborative, urban mom collectives, and it is like a collaborative of mom groups, if you will, leaders of those groups coming together for several different initiatives. And they were working with the government to talk about a tour. And she said, "Hey, Latoya, you should be a part of this." Little did I know then that my organization, A Chance to Learn, and Motivated Mom, because it's under that, but A Chance to Learn would be now leading as the agency, the fiscal agency of leading this particular tour. It's called the Moms Tour, Maternal Outcomes Matter Showers. It's a 2-year community baby shower tour. We're targeting 50 cities, reaching more than 25,000 mothers in those communities. And it is groundbreaking. It's a partnership between the Center for Faith-Based Neighborhood Partnerships at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, along with the What to Expect Project, Heidi Murkoff, who wrote What to Expect While Expecting, that small book, right? It's huge, millions of copies. But she's on the project in addition to, as I said, the Urban Mob Collective and Coco Life Black, and then us, A Chance to Learn. And so this tour is focused on, excuse me, reducing high maternal mortality, especially among Black American Indian, I'm sorry, and Alaskan Native moms. And so it's huge. We kick off February 10th with a press conference in DC, which happens to be my birthday, and then our very
Great timing.
first.
You're
I
Aquarius
know,
too.
what a gift. I am an Aquarius.
I'm a
And
cusp.
then we kick off our very first tour. You are? You're an Aquarius? Oh my
I'm
gosh,
a
we just
cusp.
sidebar that. That is
February 19th is my
okay.
birthday, so I am the end of Aquarius, beginning of Pisces, which means I read both, take all the good and none of the bad from either of those horoscopes.
I love that. I love that. Sorry, y'all. We just had that, it's important to address all the Aquariuses out there. So, hey, y'all. Um, but yes,
Get stuff done.
February February 10th is the press release, and then February 11th will be our first tour, part of the tour city in DC, and it'll be the Moms Tour, Maternal Outcomes Matter Shower, and we're going to be targeting the maternal mortality rates, especially among Black moms, and so I'm super duper excited about that.
So what happens at the showers?
It's a day full of obviously we're going to have some chats around maternal health. We're going to be certifying doulas, Black doulas in every city. We'll have a panel discussion with Heidi Murkoff and an OBGYN, a doula. There'll be someone on that panel talking about their experiences, right? And what it looked like for them. People like me who had this experience with losing a child after child after child. I mean, I had 5 miscarriages before we finally were able to hold on to Chance. And so we named him Chance because God gave him a chance at life. There'll be tons of vendors, right? We'll have a kids corner and mental health conversations with therapists and, small group fireside chats with dads and moms. And I mean, it is going to be the, community baby shower tour of the century. I mean, because you're leaving with information around what's important for your health and the health of your child, and how we can change the narrative that the United States is like number one um, for a maternal mortality. And so we definitely we want to change that. And so it'll be tons of engagement with different, community partners and brands and sponsors, but just doctors and health professionals that's going to lend a hand to ensure that we can save lives.
Amazing.
Yeah.
25 cities. And how many doulas do you expect to certify?
Yeah, we'll certify 25 doulas in every city and that's throughout the entire 2-year tour.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I know we want to connect families to needed resources. Obviously, we're going to be giving away resources. We want to increase the doula profession by certifying more Black doulas, and we want to connect maternal health um, organizations to evidence-based curriculum focused on infant and maternal mortality for the Black community. And so we are super duper excited to host this, a chance to learn. And me, Latoyia Dennis, the Motivated Mom, is super excited to lead this initiative in partnership with the faith-based neighborhood partnerships of the Health and Human Services Department, along with What to Expect Project. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
It's so well. On one part of my heart is like, I cannot believe we actually have to do this because,
I
but it's
know.
because we have to actually do this. Like, it is such a crisis. And as I said to you before, I have, very little fear about one day becoming a mom. But the one fear I do have, which I will openly say, because it should be said, like, even though I have a really good job and I have great health insurance, whenever that day comes, like, I'm still worried. Because if it can happen to Beyonce and Serena Williams, and lots
Mm-hmm.
of, it can happen to anybody. And there's so many amazing professional women who you think, okay, it's not like an economic issue. No, it's a Black women issue. How
No,
they
it
how they're treated.
really is. It really is. I saw a statistic that one out of so it was based on 1,000 births, and Black women with college degrees were still 33% likely versus white women without a high school diploma. And they were like 9%. So it is an issue among it, and it does not, it transcends uh your economic income. Like, I mean, seriously, like it is an issue. And so we've got to figure out what those issues are, and work together to create solutions, because Black maternal health matters just as maternal health matters. So that's what the
It's
tour is all about.
Yeah, and it's necessary. I think you're honestly going to save lives. You're going to actually just make people feel a whole lot more comfortable and more safe because they know that they'll be doing this in their neighborhoods and they'll get all that relevant information. They'll get those questions answered, which is so very necessary, especially at this particular moment. As again, those stats are just horrifying on so many levels, and I think
Mm-hmm.
the only way we get these things solved is education and access, and making sure that people get the best possible care. Like, this should not even be a thing that we as a civilized country have to have this, but like, there's structural racism everywhere you go.
Yep.
There's a great clip from a show on NBC called New Amsterdam, and I think if you Google it, you'll see it. And it's all about how a doctor has stopped another doctor from rushing a Black expectant mom who has a quote unquote geriatric pregnancy into having an unnecessary C-section. And it's all about because, like, the way they were reading her stats was as if she was a Black woman. And he says to her, well, read her stats as if she was a white woman. And when they do, they realize, oh, yeah, these numbers aren't that high, and you can go ahead and have your baby there. Uh, of a natural birth. And it's like, the fact that that was actually on TV is one
Oh my
remarkable.
goodness.
Yeah.
I have
But
got to go
also
look
grounded
that
in,
up.
yeah, the show's called New Amsterdam. I guess it's from a couple
No,
of
I
years
love
ago.
New Amsterdam. I love New Amsterdam. I just didn't see that particular episode.
Cool. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like they didn't make that up. Like that is a
Nope.
statistic and a condition that they were grounded in reality. And the fact that like that is a thing speaks so much to why programs like what you're going to be running is so 100% necessary. And it's a problem. We know it is. And you're getting out there to make a change, which I adore you for. Now, you're doing all this amazing stuff, Latoya. What do you do for Latoya? What do you do for your self care?
You know, I think over the last couple of years, I've been very intentional about it. I think prior to COVID, I was really failing at it, to be honest. It was just I was always busy. I was always a mom and a wife, and I mean, occasionally hanging out or going to a spa. But that's not really self care, right? Self care is saying no. Self care
Mhm.
is cutting things, right? Like self care is making yourself a priority and knowing that that's not selfish. And so lately, I have just been saying no and removing myself out of situations that are toxic for me, separating, work from my home life. Like I can't. I'm done for the day. Right? It's okay for me to create boundaries around work. It's okay. And so those are the things that I've been doing here lately. Excuse me. That has really made a significant impact for just my overall well being. I feel so much better about the things that I am doing. I feel so much more clearer on where I need to go and the things that I need to do that's going to bring my life more joy and happiness and peace. Um, so those are some of the things. But also, Laura,
Yes.
I love roller skating. And so
Really?
I do. Like I am a skater and I have not, it's been years since I've been to a skating rink. I mean, like really. And I was inspired a couple years ago. I went to the Usher concert and he was performing on skates. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get back into it. So my husband and my son bought me a pair of skates. And so I have been roller skating every Thursday night. Excuse
I
me, adult
love
night
it.
skate every Thursday night. Like I am just, sharpening my skill because
What's
I'm
the
really
outfit? Most importantly, what is the outfit that you wear when you're skating?
the outfit. What did you say, Laura?
Yeah, what's your outfit? Like, are we doing a whole little?
It
Are we
just
doing a whole like bodysuit situation, or is like jeans and a t-shirt?
Yeah, it's jeans. It's jeans and a t-shirt. Yeah, it's not the button. Listen, like, oh my gosh. But you know what, Laura? That would be hilarious if I showed up like that. Like, I
I
think
know.
I will and take a picture because why not?
Why
Like,
not?
throw on a leotard with with a big thick socks and a
Yes,
headband and some
exactly.
wristbands. Like, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna take a picture because that, like, seriously, I'm bringing old school skate back. Why not?
Why
But yes,
not?
I do it. I do it every Thursday. Every
Oh
Thursday,
my
I'm
gosh, I
roller
love it.
skating.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love that your self
it's so
care is
therapeutic.
saying no and roller skating. I love, love, love it. Um,
Yeah.
so the last question for you, Latoya, and I think I know what the answer is going to be. Do you have a give and or an ask of the audience?
A give and, or ask. Hmm.
There's a tour you're doing that you might want people to come to.
I do. I would like,
You can do more than
I
one.
would absolutely like for everyone to visit achancetolearn.org um, and take a look at the cities that we are going to be in and join us. Please join us. And if you can support. Um, please join us. And then a give for every person out there listening. Give yourself permission to be authentically you. And when you do that, I promise everything that you desire in your life will be attracted to you because you are your authentic self. And I'm saying that because I am living that right now. I'm living that right now. When I said yes to my authentic self, my heart's desires found me. And I want you to do the same.
I love that. Oh, sorry. Oh, I adore you. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. So we're gonna put all the details about the mom tour in the show notes. It's gonna be in 25 cities across the country this year, and then another 25 in 2024. If you can donate to a chance to learn, you absolutely should. It is absolutely 110, 50%, million percent necessary that we close these racial disparities when it comes to Black maternal health, Black and Brown maternal health. And this amazing program is partnered up with the U.S. government, so it's legit. Um,
Legit.
so definitely keep this in top of mind. Latoyia, thank you so very much for coming on the show and being part of 29 Days of Magic. You just are just magical. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Laura. You guys have a great day.
And that is our show.